guys, welcome to PCube, where we watch and talk about music as classical musicians. And welcome to another Friday. We're gonna post 2 videos today, so make sure you come back at 11 o'clock US Eastern Time to watch our second video. But today's video is very special and dear to our heart because we're entering the world of classical music today. We had a request from RF, one of our supporters on Buy Me a Coffee, and he requested 2 movements of Aaron Copland conducted by Bernstein. These pieces are called 4 dance episodes from Rodeo, and this is part 3 and 4. We obviously know Aaron Copland and we know Leonard Bernstein, but we've never heard these pieces, so we went ahead and read a little bit about them. So we kind of know about the history or what were they, because I feel like with classical music, same with other genres, it's very important to know a little more about before like listening to it, even for the first time, kind of like what it is, what is the history or the story behind that piece. So we are very excited to explore this together. So we're gonna start with the 3rd movement. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any videos of Bernstein conducting these pieces, so we have to listen to the audios that he sent us. It would be more fun to have the video, especially if you're not really into classical music, but we're gonna do it anyway and we try to get the most out of it. So Rodeo is the name of the ballet that Copland composed in the early 40s, and this is his adaptation of those ballet movements for orchestra that it could be played in a concert. This is the 3rd movement. It's called Saturday Night Waltz. Let's just wait here on this beautiful harmony. Oh my God. After that introduction that lasted for like 10 seconds, even maybe less, I was not expecting such a beautiful orchestration and such beautiful melodies and harmonies. And then it was truly like, I know maybe it's like easy to say because we already know it's Copland, but from the first few notes, I feel like if you've heard some of his works, it's so obvious that it's him. Like he has a very distinct sound in composing, and this is, I feel like, not an exception. Just all these like beautiful like texture that he uses and the harmonies that are just, it feels open. There's no like, it just feels like they're all very open and bright. I don't know how to explain it better, but I feel like if you listen to like a bunch of his works, it's just like so unique.
Yeah, I lately I didn't listen to classical music as much as before, and I forgot um, how much feelings, completely different feelings can the composer put in just a couple seconds in classical music. Because I think if in another genre of music you want to do like go from hopeful or from a heroic, which we had like the heroic feeling in the beginning, to the wandering feeling, it was like 2 seconds of you're wondering, you're asking a question, and then you go to your happy place and you're happy and hopeful. And if you want to do the same thing, to bring so much different and opposite feelings in a song, you have to do so much more preparation and so much I don't know, make the lyrics match if you want to really do a good thing, and make it really cohesive and not like it's all all separated. Or I don't know, I think no music like classical music has this capacity to have this range of variety of feeling in just and you can also change it in like a couple seconds.
Yeah, as I was reading about this movement specifically, it's happening in a rural area, and it's kind of like a get together to dance. But obviously, even though it's a waltz, Copland had to do his own thing, and I feel like from the first listening, it doesn't feel like a waltz. He's doing his own thing with like stretching things and then putting different harmonies, but still you can really picture that scenery, that rural area. I could hear the birds with those like little like the little instruments that are happening, like the warmth of the string, kind of like was the background for me, like with all the like the greenery in the background and all these kind of like the layout of the scene, and those little like moments of woodwinds that were come and go with their like the movie characters for me in different parts. So it was very pictures. It was very fun to listen to and then picture it at the same time. I can't wait for the rest of it. So let's go ahead and listen to the remaining part. I have nothing to
The
say. It was so good. Oh my God.
yeah, I forgot how deep classical music can hit you,
Yeah.
because it's I remember that we had a teacher in the university, we both had,
Mhm.
and she was like, I don't listen to classical music when I'm in my car or I'm doing something. I just listen to pop music or something when I'm doing like something daily, and I listen to classical music as a like I sit and I
Kind
listen
of as an
to that,
activity.
not
Yeah.
like a background. And that in that age I was like, no, that's if you're a classical musician you have to listen to it all the time. And I always also by driving or everything I was listening to classical music. But now I kind of understand her, because it's really like makes you think and feel deeper than usual, than normal. And like um it's not the enjoyment of classical music is not something that is in your face and you just can listen to it and just enjoy it. You have to really go deep into it so that you can enjoy, but the enjoyment is also deeper. And I have to say that he was building an atmosphere the whole time, a very delicate and like really that can break every second atmosphere, that was like a small lake, that the water is completely still and like doesn't move. And but if you take a stone, even like the smallest stone, and just put it there, the water starts to get wavy, because the atmosphere is so still. Even a little amount of impurement can just make this peaceful atmosphere like wavy and like a thing. And in the whole thing it was like a very soft and like I don't know, like happy is just such a shallow thing to say, but like a happy atmosphere. And in just a second it would become like this water that you just put a little stone in it, and with just one chord, change of one chord, the whole atmosphere would in a second would change. And you're like, okay, now I'm a little nervous, and or something is not like it was
Yeah.
before. And another thing that I wanted to say was about the flute that came at the very end. The voice color and the voice quality that the I don't know if something specifically like was written in the notes that you have to play like that. So it was playing like the person was playing like that, or they just decided to play like that. Because um, I think it was one of the first times that I heard this kind of voice quality from a flute that was so like delicate and so shaky and so uncertain, and like I don't know, not scared, but like really uncertain, and like really like if you touch it, it will
Hmm.
break, or it will like it will scare or something. It was such a unique voice
Yeah.
sonority.
Yeah. Before moving to the last movement of this one, which from the title, I have a feeling that it's going to be very contrasting with this one, but also because we read a little bit the character of it. I was going to say that whenever I listen to Copland, I feel like it's because, again, one of our teachers at Scotland College, like she described Copland as like very kind of like spacious compositions, like you kind of like really feel the space and the vast scenery, mainly because he was trying to kind of create a distinct American sound. So that was his goal in like classical music composition. I mean, he lived a long life. He lived from like 1900 to 1990. So he lived like actually the best, I guess, the very like prominent decades of the history. I feel like almost all the 20th century. So his works can vary a lot from like decade to decade or like different genres, but I feel like one of the most like important thing was in his works was he was trying to like build a unique American like classical music sound, and he was very successful. And it was very inspired from the vast kind of like land of the US that when she was telling us back then, like so many years ago, I mean, because I had never been there, so I could imagine it, but I didn't fully like comprehend how big the US is. And then she was like, yeah, because of all these vast like any like you can see like all the valleys, all the mountains, and then you can see like you cannot see the end of it. And so he kind of like got inspired by that, and a bunch of like folk tunes obviously, and a lot of like elements from like American music that he was trying to bring in classical music. And every time I listen to different works of Copland, I think that's the main thing that it kind of reminds me. And it kind of like, again, I was like, oh, okay, that's true in this, that's true in that as well. So even though the characters of the work might be different, you can still feel that signature sound in his works. So now let's go ahead and do movement number 4. So this is called Hoedown, and I feel like it's going to be very contrasting. Here we go. Wow, what an ending.
Nice.
And I feel like
Yeah.
because
the ending
yeah.
actually reminded me just a little, maybe it's just me, but it reminded me of the Dvorak, because also the Dvorak makes this kind of playing with the rhythm, with the upbeat, and because they were doing some like unexpected, yeah, at the end when the xylophone was playing like some beats, it was until now it wasn't like really upbeat or like unexpected in unexpected rhythms or something, and now it was like I can really imagine in the orchestra that every time the musicians played wrong, and then the conductor is like, no, just make a circle that you know that this time
Yeah.
you have to play upbeat or something. Yeah, the ending was, because Dvorak also does it a lot. So it reminded me of that a little. But in general, I really enjoyed the contrast of how clear and bright and sunny it was in sometimes when the strings came, when the strings was I mean there was in all of the time strings, but when the strings were the main
Yeah.
character, and then in the opposite part it was like I don't know, like the horses were like going somewhere, or like really like heroic, or I don't know, something completely opposite than the sound that it, and the whole time it was like that, like it was changing the whole time, like to the sunny clear, very like I don't know, high pitched, like this string parts, and then to the like more rhythmic and more like I don't know, with more motion and
Yeah, it was so cool that unlike the third one that was, I feel like was very lyrical, obviously, and it was very melody driven and harmony. But this one was way more like rhythm driven, and it was very like, and it instantly gave it kind of like a celebratory feel or mood to it. I was like pure joy, as opposed to that one that I feel like that just beautiful, like that's the description of beautiful like song or a piece, and this is very like joyful, and as you said, like very like you're just going somewhere, getting somewhere, like either you're riding your horse or something. I read that it's actually it's using a lot more folk tunes, prominently like Bonaparte's Retreat, which we had to go listen to because we were not aware, or we were not familiar with that. But aside from that, as you said, I love that there are so many layers going on, and they were all playing, I feel like, most of the time, but then they were so perfectly layered that you could hear the main character every time. So either it was like so many brass, or like most of the time was mostly brass, but then when the piano came out, everything, the orchestration was so perfect that you could hear the main character, and it was so balanced, because obviously the piano cannot like overcome all those instruments. So whenever it was pianist's turn, it was like everything kind of like emptied out for the pianist to be heard, and whenever we wanted to like hear the strings, it was kind of also like less brassy, and but the other times it was like a lot of percussions and brass. So it was, even though there was like so many like contrast or so many different characters, they're all like clear and layered perfectly on top of each other. And obviously it's just a very, very bold kind of like piece or ending, I guess, to the end of the ballet. So yeah, that was it for this video. We don't want to make it too long, because I feel like if you're not maybe a musician, it wouldn't be that interesting, but we wanted to keep it kind of like short and sweet. We hope we were successful. So thank you, RF, for kind of like making us starting our classical music reaction on this channel. We've been wanting to do it for the longest time, but I feel like we've been just postponing it for no reason. So now we actually had to do it. And even though I was not expecting to start with Copland, I feel like it was the perfect start to this, hopefully, series, and hopefully becoming a playlist on our channel reacting to more classical music. So if you guys want us to do this more, please let us know in the comments. But thank you so much for watching us, and hopefully you enjoyed it as well. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. If you want to support us more, there's a Buy Me a Coffee link in the description. We'll see you guys in a few hours at 11 o'clock. Bye!
Bye.